What's your name?
Well, they call me Ajani. Yeah, my name's Ajani though.
You can talk as well. Like, I need to hear you. Like, you can talk loud.
My name's Ajani. That's my name. The truck would come when I turn up.
No cap.
Turn the volume.
What kind of music you listen to?
What kind of music do I listen to? I listen to R&B and rap for the most part. Haven't quite dabbled into country yet, like Beyonce, but we might get there.
What's your favorite out of all the genres you listen to?
R&B for sure.
Okay. You got any like favorite artists?
Bryson Tiller, T-Pain, Erykah Badu, India.Arie. Who else we got? Let me find somebody on the rap side. I like Andre. Andre's hard. Andre, who else is rhyme scheme I like? JID's pretty cool. Is it JID or is it JID?
I think it's
It's JID. I don't know.
You don't really.
I don't want to say this on the internet and they flame me.
Okay. What do you love most about R&B?
The freedom of expression. I feel like niggas get away with saying a lot of things. People get away with saying a lot in R&B. Just because you're singing. I think I heard somebody say that before. Just because you're singing, you get to say a lot more because like they're not really listening as much to what you're saying, and you kind of just slide stuff in there.
Random stuff, or just saying like toxic stuff, or like stuff.
It can be toxic. It can be something crazy. They can be really talking about a really deep situation, and you won't even really peep. Like, but then again, I don't know, because really good rappers, that's different. That's different what I was about to say. I was gonna say they get away with saying a lot too, but that's if you know how to like say something without saying it. Like just the way that you form your lyrics. I feel like you can do that with anything. But when it comes to singing, if you can sing really well, there's so many different ways that you can bend like, what's it called? Syllables and different, parts of the word that you can say differently and it won't sound like what you're saying. They'll throw them off.
And like the way that they say it, like they might make this one very noticeable versus just letting them.
Right. You know how like when you're listening to a song and then you were like, oh, I didn't even peep bro was saying that.
No, you gotta read the lyrics. You gotta be like, oh,
yeah, like, that's what we were singing.
I was singing this as a kid.
Right. That kind of stuff. So, I mean, okay. Yeah. But I like R&B though. Yeah.
Old or new?
Old or new. Like I said, it depends. Depends on how old. If we go like 2010 and below, then probably older. Probably older. But I don't know if it's because of the music or if it's because of the era that I have tied to that. Because the time I spent in that time, I don't know, maybe if I would like fast forward the past to now, it'd probably be from like 2010 on. That'd be dope. But
speaking of music in the last 5 years, like hip hop and R&B wise, do you think that people are less creative?
Absolutely not.
Why? Because a lot of people will say that they're just taking a bunch of samples and not doing anything new.
I think it's harder to find creativity. I won't say that people are less creative. I think there's more access, and because of that, it's saturated. And that it's been so easy to get your face out there now that it's a little harder if you're not really looking and really loving what you're like trying to do. It's a little harder to go in there and just pick something out and be like, this is different, this is cool, this is dope. Because there's a lot of people like that, like they say there's 10,000 Michael Jordans, but we just don't know them. So
you just think that the access to a lot of music,
a lot more people, because there's a lot of people that's creative and there's a lot of people that aren't creative. There's a lot of people just biting other people, and they just happen to get seen first. So now they're doing the creative stuff, not as good as the creative person, but they're getting the light. You know what I'm saying? So,
what's your take on sampling?
I like sampling. I feel like it's overdone at times because people just get trigger happy with it. But
I don't know about
if it's done
lazy.
Well,
maybe lazy. Like when you hear a sample and you were like, oh,
no, that's the right.
Why'd you chop it up like that? It just sound
That's the right word. It's definitely. It definitely feels like that. I'm not a producer, so I don't know what the process is for sure, but
from a consumer standpoint,
you know what I'm
saying? It just sounds low-key lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do one more question. When is your favorite artist versus regular artist? you listen to their albums differently or their songs differently?
A favorite artist versus a regular artist album?
Yeah. Like Bryson versus like somebody just.
Yes,
somebody.
actually. Yes.
Why?
Very differently, because it's like I'm curious to see what they have to say. If you're my favorite artist, there's a reason for it. And if you're just a regular artist to me, like, you can get me to listen to it, but you'll have to give me something first that'll catch my ear for me to be like, okay, let me check out a whole body of work from you. But if I already have a favorite artist, that means I'm already familiar with, like, most of, if not all of their catalog. So I know, like, different sides of them. Like, people put out albums and people get upset because they say that it doesn't sound like the last album. I actually appreciate that sometimes because it shows, like, your diversity as an artist and what you can do. So if you can do it and do it well, then that's, like, a good thing. Because, like, with Bryson Tiller, that's me personally. I'm not speaking for everybody else. But when he released Anniversary, the second part of, like, it's like a trap soul second part. So when he released that, a lot of people were like, oh, this doesn't sound like this. It doesn't sound like that. And they said the same thing about True to Self. But it's kind of like one of those things where you have to maybe listen to it a few times because you're stuck on that old sound. But once you get into the flow, you're going to really rock with it, you know what I'm saying? So if you're feeling it.
I was about to ask you that, actually, but I had forgot about it. Like, when you listen to somebody that you already know, do you, like, expect for them to, like, keep up the consistency or try something new? And if they try something new, do you, like, knock them out? Like, if they do try something new and they're, like, it does terribly.
Nah, if they do something new and I don't like it, I'm going to be honest about it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be honest about it. I mean,
you, like, knock them? Like the album is bad because they tried this and it's terrible?
I wouldn't knock them. Because, like I said, I appreciate them trying to go out of the box and do new things because, I mean, not everybody can do that. It doesn't matter what level you are at, but not everybody can jump out of that box. It's a lot of people who've been rapping the same how they've been rapping. And it works for them. It's not an issue to do that. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, we can go somewhere else. What's the first thing you notice when you listen to one of these songs? Production, voice, lyrics? Production and then flow. Because the production is going to make me curious about the flow. And then after that, of course, you start digging into the lyrics and then seeing what's really going on. If you get that far. If you get that far. But some people will listen to it and then they'll stop at the flow and they don't really care about the lyrics. Like, I tend to go into the lyrics too, but yeah, the flow be catching me. The flow is the most interesting part. I'll say the production comes first for sure, but the flow is the most interesting part to me because I'll be wanting to see, like, I'll be curious of who's gonna do what, especially if I've never heard the artist before. How do you find new artists?
How do I find new artists? Spotify be putting me on. I can't even lie. And then people on the internet be putting me on. I be seeing a lot of people's stories and stuff, and that makes me, like, I be like, oh yeah, I didn't know so and so did a song with so and so. Like, it was a couple songs that I've seen on somebody's story. And then, what's up, bro? How y'all doing? Say it again. Oh, we doing an interview. I do music though. Nah, he do interviews. I do music. Yeah.
What's your name? Isaac, nice to meet you. I got a magazine out here. I'm gonna holler at you. Like, 3K magazine. This shirt? You have a shirt? Yeah. My bad.
Oh shoot, I'm holding your phone.
That's what you're saying. All right, back to this.
Out here doing business.
Yeah, so how you find new artists?
How do I find my artists? Mainly Instagram and Spotify. It'll be on the tip. Sometimes I'll just be, like, out doing something, like, where I'll be posting something on YouTube and something will come on my For You page or something like that. I feel like the internet is the main way. I don't even listen to the radio anymore, so I don't know what's... I know what's hot because what they're posting, but I don't know what's hot on the radio and what's really, like, being overplayed right now.
So you never go out of your way?
Let's go to the radio?
I'm saying, like, you never go out of your way to, like, listen to new music? It sounds like you just naturally...
I mean, it's kind of like when I find it, those ways, it's not like it's without intention. If it's on Spotify, it's probably with intention because you can turn that function off to where you let new music come into your, not the catalog, or in your rotation, yeah. So if I have that function turned on, then I'm in the mood to find something new. If something comes on, I'm not going to skip through it. I'm going to hear it out. I found a few artists through there, actually.
What is one artist you could say that you've been there day one, like, before they became popular?
Believe it or not, and I don't listen to him as much anymore, but Tusi. I was watching Tusi for a minute before he blew up. Like, I was watching him doing his little lives and stuff. Before, I think I was listening to him before he dropped Platinum Hearts. I think that was his first album. Yeah.
Where can you even find him?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I think I know I saw it live, but I don't know how I got there. It may have been through somebody else posting one of his pictures or something. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think we got any artist questions on recording. So
No, probably not.
What can you say is like your golden spot for like making music, like for writing?
Writing's got to be at the crib. In my room.
Specifically?
Where specifically?
Like
At my desk.
Desk.
At my desk in my room. Cause I have it set up where I'm sitting right by the window. So when the sun is shining, whether it's raining or whatever, and I just bought something that kind of soundproofs a little better, so it doesn't take in all the excess noise, even though I'm right by the window.
Mm-hmm.
But it still gives me that feeling that I like.
What would you say is your second place?
Second place? You know what's funny? I tried to make myself a writing chair. It did not work.
Just sitting there, nothing coming. You just sitting there. Like,
yeah,
damn.
I was just like, yeah, well, I tried. Try to get that little aesthetic in there. But nah, probably my car. Second place would be my car.
So when you write, you try to get the whole song out, or you just like write bits and pieces? What sounds good?
It depends on how it comes. It may be bits and pieces. Most of the times it is bits and pieces, and then I might come back to it. But the thing is, that happens most of the time because of the time pressure. Most of the time when I'm recording, like as of right now, when I'm recording, I have something to do, like, in not too long. So I'm trying to sit there and squeeze out, so it's a little bit of pressure with the time. But, you know, a lot of times it'll come and I'll have, like, 2 bars, or I'll have a hook. Or maybe I'll write a verse and then I'll build a hook around the verse. So it just depends on how it comes. It's funny because I actually wrote, what's that song called by myself? Save Your Time. I wrote Save Your Time in my car. I remember I was on the way to my grandma's house.
When somebody needed to save some time, is that why?
I'm not even sure. I think I was going through that situation at the time, and then, or either that, or I was starting to get the thoughts that times were about to change things up a little bit, and we were about to probably separate. So I got into that mindset, and I heard that beat, and I just started freestyling a little bit, and that's how that came. I was writing that the whole day. Like, I'll be writing while doing regular stuff. We'll be walking, I'll be writing in my head to a song. Like, that's exactly how that happened, because I think I had it finished. By the time I got home, I put that second verse down, and I was done.
So you usually write around the beat, or you just write just to write?
I do both.
I would you say it's usually more like write more around the beat?
As of right now, writing around the beat, just because I'm not far to the point where I'm sitting in the studio all the time working with producers as I'm writing. If that were the case, I promise you it'd be a lot more songs. Because I have a lot written that has no beat to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, most of the stuff right now is writing to a beat. Love some more.
Okay, I heard that, like, the speaker's kind of terrible, so I kind of heard it, but I didn't really hear it perfectly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That boy took it hard to the floor.
What advice would you give new artists?
What advice would I give new artists? Start making music. My advice would be, don't be afraid to be inspired by something else. I think a lot of artists, when they come into the game, they're so focused on trying to be original. And as I've said before, there's nothing new under the sun. And those are not my words. Those are scripture. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm not saying go slap your name on somebody else's stuff, but when you're learning, that's what we do as human beings. You know, we take things and we adapt. And you're always going to be who you are at the end of the day. So you just have to be free enough to let yourself still be that person, still be yourself. But don't be afraid to, you know, if you heard a good song and you realize that somebody did their hook a certain way and they added backgrounds that you wouldn't usually add, it's not a problem for you to take that kind of inspiration and, you know, go try that because it may work for you. And then there's some things that we have, you know, that we hear, that we like, that's not good for us, but that's why you try things. You're an artist. That's what you do. You try things, you see what works, and you see what doesn't. Just be free. But, you take in your environment. That's what we do as artists, too. We're like, artists are like mirrors, in my opinion. I feel like you can't really always get upset at somebody for, everybody has control of what they say, yes. But to an extent, I feel like there's whatever is around us, we tend to take in and we'll display that onto the painting.
So circumstance?
Circumstances, it could be circumstances, it could be people, situations. It's all that. It's like a selfish mirror in a way, because your perspective is what you're going to be painting. You're going to be painting your perspective, but that may not be everybody else's perspective. So I don't know how I got there. I don't know how I got there.
What would you warn new artists about to stay away from, or to what I'm saying?
I would warn them to know what they're getting in there for.
What do you mean?
If you're gonna get in this for the money, okay, cool. If you're gonna get in this for the passion of it, okay, cool. Just understand that there's different routes that you'll have to take doing different things, because you'll be met with different problems. If you're in it for the money, you won't mind, certain things happening, like having to have different conversations with people as far as your contracts and stuff like that. And then with being in here and having your passion, that's what you have to worry a little more, because you'll have to worry about your certain rights that you have to your music, certain ways that you put it out. It's a different ball game, how it sounds. If you're just trying to get a hit done, you can go in there and drop a rack to work with whoever and pay for whatever you need to pay for and get that junk done. It's easy as that. And you get your money however you learn how to do that. But as far as warning them, that just know what you're doing it for and stand by that. Just stand on it, because a lot of people get in it for the love of the music, and then they get lost in everything that comes with it. Just remember why you... Right. Or that. Or they lost and trying to find a way out of something. Yeah. Which is not always an issue, but, just be aware of it. Definitely be aware of it. Yeah, you don't want to come in here thinking this,
Sweet.
It's a sweet, and then realize it take a little bit of work, and then, like I said, people will start to bend your goal. You may want one thing, but people may push you to do 10,000 other things on top of that, and if that has nothing to do with why you started this or why you're doing this in the first place, just make sure you consider yourself first. And when I say consider yourself, I don't just mean yourself, but what you got going on in your situation. Yeah.
How would you describe your fans?
What's so funny? I was going to ask them how they describe themselves. Because I was like, I haven't thought about that too much. How would I describe them, though? I like to think, I would say hopeless romantics, but a lot of people are in relationships right now. Which is a good thing. We're all lovers, man. We just, that's who we are. I say I make music for the hopeless romantics and the players, because I like to think that people that listen to my music are, yes, lovers on one tip, but also you're not gonna run over us. It's still gonna be we still have that not roughness, probably rough around the edges. I'll say that, rough around the edges. There we go. That's the explanation. I don't got nothing else. That's it. A diamond in the rough. There we are.
That's all I got for now. I'll probably do another one, and I'll probably do the last one.
Bet.
What would you say was a pivotal moment that you experienced that shaped the way you live life?
Shaped the way I live life.
What experience made you change the whole way you live life, or enhance the way you live life?
Does the experience have to be something that I made a decision to do? I said, does it have to be something that happened to me, or can it be something that I made a decision to do?
Both. It doesn't have to be bad. It could be good too.
It'd probably be when I decided to quit gymnastics.
You did gymnastics?
Yeah.
Why'd you quit?
I quit because it was never something I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
And I quit when I was around 15 to 17, around that time. And I was really realizing in life that I was only going to be doing, I didn't want to be doing what made other people happy my whole life. Because if I continued on that path, that was gonna swallow up those years for me, and I was gonna be the one left to deal with it, no one else. And that's when I kind of really came to that realization of not so much of, I mean, yeah, I jumped on the music tip after that, but really my whole mindset changed as far as how I move, like how I make decisions and how I do things, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one left to deal with it, depending on what it is, versus somebody else if I'm trying to make them happy. You know, they may, you know, come, they were always telling me about going to the Olympics and stuff like that. I said, when I go to the Olympics, y'all might be there. Y'all might not even be on the planet anymore for all I know. And by the time I get there, I'm up there suffering. I go up there and hurt myself. I'm the one back here doing all the extra work at the end of the day. Ain't nobody back here shooting with me in the court for something I don't even want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just kind of when I woke up to, you know, my purpose and what I want to do. So, definitely that.
How do you express yourself?
How do I express myself? Sometimes it'll be through music. Sometimes I write. It depends on what it is. It really depends on what it is. Because sometimes I won't outwardly express myself to anybody. Sometimes I just pray. Sometimes I may not do that. Sometimes I'll just sit there and let myself marinate and go through and feel, yeah, and just process. You know, so.
What are your passions right now?
My passions? Maybe music, that's for sure. Family, that's for sure. Relationships, God, spirituality, all that for sure. Well, let me reorder that. God first. I said, let me reorder that. God first.
Well, it's not an order. It's just...
It's an order for me.
My fault.
No. You good. But yeah, that first, and then it'd be family, and then music for sure, though. Music, I think just being creative and being open and being myself is really my passion right now. It's really, I don't know if that counts, but, you know, we're going to count it today. That's my focus, like, just trying to be my best self in all areas that I can, and anything that I'm interested in trying and doing, just going full send on it, and really going for it, because I know people have a lot of thoughts, and we let ourselves hold each other back. Not hold each other back, but we hold ourselves back. That's what I was trying to say. So, just out of insecurities, I'm gonna wait.
What are your insecurities?
I'm very self-conscious. I'm self-conscious about the way I look. I'm self-conscious about the way that I act sometimes. I don't feel like I'm an ugly person or anything like that, but you know how it be. Everybody has it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm insecure about not necessarily things that I say, but I'm just mindful of that. Because of that, I understand that people don't perceive me the way I perceive me a lot of the time, and that's often a lot of people's reality. Yeah, that's often the reality for a lot of people. So I mean, whether you choose to realize that or not, it's fine. But you know, just learning how to level myself within those things.
What do you think holds you back right now from being your best self?
Me, time management, putting myself in that position. There's one thing, that was a conversation I was having with somebody not too long ago. It's like, I realized that in my life, I've been great at what I do, whatever I put my mind to and whatever I spend my time on. So I just have to now take that and apply that to myself and my passions and what I want to do. I already made the choice that I wanted to do it, but to actually make the choice of like putting myself in discipline towards that, because I can discipline myself to wake up for an 8 a.m. shift every day and go in there and bust my ass, you know what I'm saying, and then come home, you know, for a check to pay the bills. I can discipline myself for that. So what happens when I put that energy into what I want to do? Where would that take me? So that's just what I'm on with that.
What advice would you give your younger self?
My younger self?
Damn, did you need a lot of advice?
I feel like the reason I'm pausing on that question is because, like,
You're good.
It's like, would I tell myself to do anything differently? Does advice have to mean, like, do something differently?
No. Just almost like stuff to like watch out for.
I don't know if I would tell myself much.
Why not?
I would tell myself to remember to slow down, appreciate moments, and really just, not be in such a rush to do everything or anything like that. Like, I have time, and just appreciate the time that I have. That's probably what I would say. But I wouldn't give myself advice on, like, learning a lesson early, because I learned the lessons that I was supposed to learn at that time, I feel like. So, yeah. But if there was a lesson if something I had to tell myself advice-wise, it would definitely be that. Just be very aware of your time. Time is very valuable. It's the one thing you cannot get back, apart from life itself. But yeah.
How about the opposite? What advice would you give your older self?
My older self. I would tell myself, it'd probably be more of like a reminder. Just remember where we came from. Mm-hmm. Remember what we went through. Remember the decisions we made. Remember the promises we made. Remember the people that were here for us. Just remember where we were, and be grateful for what we've gone through, whether it's been good or bad. Because if there's a future self, that means I'm doing something for there to be a future self. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Any expectations?
Expectations. Yes. A lot of expectations. Very much so. Depends on what older.
Maybe like 5
years?
Yeah.
Definitely expectations for myself. By 5 years, I expect to be living off my career fully, for sure. By 5 years, I expect... life in 5 years would be interesting. I mean, I want to be more into myself, but I know that you always are going to be growing and learning more. So it's not like it's something super big that I'm waiting to get to, but I'm just excited to see what that growth is. Excited to see where it takes me, because I know what I know now, and there's a lot of things that I still know that I have to pick up on. So once I get to those places and I apply those changes, I'm just hoping I could keep the discipline down, like I said.
Would you be disappointed in them? If you didn't live up to your expectations?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I'm being honest, I definitely would be. I wouldn't take it to heart, because I'm sure within 5 years from now, I know who I am. So with the work I would put in, it wouldn't be just because of me not working, unless something happened to where I wasn't working and I just didn't put in the work at that point. But I know myself right now, that wouldn't be the case. So I would have to come to the conclusion that with all that I'm doing, even though I'm disappointed, I have to put that trust in God and let Him, because it's all in His timing. I don't control time, nor do I control other people. So all I can do is place myself in the right positions and just be where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. So, yeah.
I think that's it.
Great. I was trying not to ramble.